Texas lawmakers are facing some backlash for the state's gun laws following Tuesday's mass shooting at Robb Elementary School. Tuesday's massacre came less than 1 year after the governor of Texas signed 7 gun laws, including one that allows people to legally carry handguns without licenses. The founder of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America called the shooting a, quote, man-made act committed by all lawmakers who refuse to pass gun control laws. Shortly after the shooting, Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy pleaded his fellow lawmakers to take action.
I'm here on this floor to beg, to literally get down on my hands and knees and beg my colleagues. Find a path forward here. Work with us to find a way to pass laws that make this less likely. I understand my Republican colleagues will not agree to everything that I may support, but there is a common denominator that we can find.
And joining us now is CBS News Washington reporter Caitlin Huey-Burns. Caitlin, Texas has long had some of the most lenient gun laws in the country. Can you detail some of these laws, specifically the ones that are facing criticism following Tuesday's shooting?
Hey, Tanya. Well, Texas has loosened restrictions on guns over the past year, at least. Last year, the governor signed into law about 7 measures designed to ease restrictions on gun carrying and specifically to allow people to carry a gun without a permit. That means you didn't have to have a background check to carry it. You could carry it in public. And when signing those bills into law, Greg Abbott, the governor there, said that he wanted Texas. He said Texas will always be the leader in defending the Second Amendment. And he has really kind of made that part of a, clarion call or a badge of honor, really, for Texans. So we've seen lawmakers at the state level move to ease restrictions. And that's significant because Texas has been, unfortunately, the site of several mass shootings over the past few years, at least. A few years ago, in response to a school shooting in Texas, the legislature came up with a packet of proposals, but those were designed really to focus on mental health in schools, focusing on beefing up law enforcement in schools and giving teachers access to carry firearms or easing those restrictions. So that has been the focus of the legislature there, with Abbott really touting support from the NRA and touting the state's status as a state friendly to gun ownership.
Right. You know, as we were making our way here to Uvalde to cover this story, we ran into Fedo ORourke at the Houston airport. As you know, he's been very critical of Greg Abbott's policies. I'm sure we will be hearing more from him on that. Caitlin, CBS Morning's co-anchor Gayle King emphasized the importance of taking action while speaking with Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez, who said he did not want to debate policy. Let's listen.
Right now, we need love. We need compassion. We need people to come together as we heal. You ask, what have we done? And I'll give you an example.
We need love, but we need change, Congressman. We need change.
We need Congress to come together.
We need Congress to come together. We need change.
So clearly, Caitlin, Gayle believes something needs to change. That being said, how do Americans overall feel about laws covering gun sales?
Well, Tanya, we actually have fresh CBS News polling in the wake of the Buffalo shooting, which unfortunately was just over a week ago. And so it's unfortunate that we have this polling from a previous shooting, but nonetheless, that helps inform our understanding about where public support is for some measures to address this issue, because it keeps happening. And what's significant is that you see support, majority support for some restrictions, mostly background checks. And it's really interesting that we saw that they asked about laws covering gun sales, and you see on your screen there, 54% say that gun sales laws covering them should be more strict. But the partisan breakdown here is significant. You have an overwhelming majority of Democrats favoring more strict measures or stricter measures. But when you see the Republican breakdown, you see a vast majority of Republicans either saying keep the measures as is or make it less strict. So that gives a sense of where the public is. You have a wide majority support for stricter measures, but when you look at the partisan breakdown, it's very clear where this lines up, and that's why it has been so difficult to pass any sort of kind of bare bones legislation on this issue on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, the nuances get lost in all of this. Well, Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you so much for joining us.